So just a quick explanation. This is the vacuum pump that we use. It's gassed. The valve is open on here. The vacuum hose goes all the way up. And we have it running across the ceiling of our porch. This is mostly so it was out of my way and I didn't have to step over it since the stanchion is on the other side. And then this is the vacuum, or the balance tank / moisture trap. So the vacuum hose that runs to the pump itself is very long. It goes in up here at the top. There's a nipple and the hose connects to it, and then it runs down. We have it anchored with some strapping to the stanchion. You'll see it runs the length. This is a 3-inch PVC pipe, and then there is another nipple here on the bottom. There's a short length of hose, and it goes, this is what plugs into the bucket itself. Yes, it looks a little cruddy, but that's partly because it's doing its job, and that is to catch the moisture from the condensation as you're milking. And instead of it getting, if it were hooked directly to your vacuum pump instead, this moisture would be going into your pump. So as water that sits out for a long period of time does, especially if there's, just other stuff in the area, yes, you will see some cruddy stuff. You can certainly take it off and clean it with a cable brush if you like. I personally don't see any need. I mean, you can rinse it from time to time and hang it up. It's just easier for me to leave it connected, so I don't, if I want a cleaner looking hose, then I just cut a new piece off and throw this one away. Anyway, I'm just gonna take that off so you can see that there. Again, that's what the nipple that it's connected to looks like. And that was the part that this little part that screws in to this component right here was the one that we had trouble finding at Lowe's and had to order specifically off of Amazon. It does come with, I think it's a pack of 6, and I would definitely want to keep extras because this one component is somewhat fragile, but if you have extras then you don't have to worry about that. You can just pop another one in. They thread in. It screws right into this component, but I do recommend putting some pipe dope around it. And if you're not familiar with what that is, it's not exactly glue like this purple blue stuff is that you use to glue PVC together with. It's kind of a marshmallow fluff consistency, and what it does, it's basically like a thread sealant. So it's not a glue, it's not permanent. This piece will still come out, but it seals up any air gaps. And there are a couple places that you'll want to put pipe dope on when you put it together, and I think it's these 2 areas. There might be one, oh, there's a cap up at the top. I'll have to go back up to the top and show that. But there's a ball valve at the bottom, and you just turn that, and any moisture that has collected will drain out here at the bottom. So just know that this has to be closed in order for your vacuum system to work. So this is the on position for when you're using the machine. And let me go back up to the top. We'll pause it right here. All right, so this cap right here on the top, it's just threaded in, and again, we put pipe dope on that too. So pipe dope goes on this because it just threads in. You can take it apart. I guess if you needed to run something down through the length of the pipe to clean it later, if you so chose, or if it got stopped up but you needed to, I don't know. If you need to get into it, you can. We don't anticipate taking this apart, but depending on your needs, you might. And then again, there's another nipple up here at the top, and that has pipe dope around it where it's threaded, so when you screw that into there, it closes the air gap. All right, to my knowledge, you don't have to cut any of the pieces except for one. So from that list, there was a longer 3-inch PVC pipe. That's this. I think we made a cut at some point because we had a little bit left over, but we cut that, and one end put into this piece, which is all one piece, and then there's a shorter section that we put here, and then this is all one piece of stuff. And I think we bought a smaller pipe. Yeah, okay, this one has a cut too, probably. So this, I think that's a 1.5 inch or 2 inch. It says it on the side, I think. You can refer to the list to see what lengths of pipe. But anyway, we cut a section because we use this reducer to go down to this ball valve. It's all one piece. And then we attached another section of this other pipe that was cut to make the clean out. Okay, so I just went ahead and attached a bucket to it. This is my smaller bucket. Man, I haven't used it in a long time. It looks so tiny. Anyway, so the hose, this is a section of vacuum hose that comes off of the balance tank / moisture trap, and it is hooked into the pulsator, and this is what makes it work. And so that goes in there. So the benefit of this is when you're milking, it will keep your vacuum levels stable, but the condensation of warm milk going across the air lines, it will create condensation, and since the vacuum pump is drawing a vacuum, any water vapor will be drawn into the vacuum line, and it will get caught in this trap here, which, as we already mentioned, the ball valve below, that's your clean out. So I empty mine maybe about once a week, and certain seasons you won't really see any moisture in there. It's just kind of the nature of how things work, and then other times you will have, a couple teaspoons at a time. But the biggest plus for that, aside from keeping just minimal moisture out of your vacuum pump, is if you have a catastrophic event, and I've had this happen, so this is the voice of experience, learn from me. If your cow freaks out and something happens and your bucket gets tipped over while the milker is running, let me hang this claw up here just to sort of illustrate what I'm talking about. The bucket gets tipped over, well, guess what? Even if your bucket's not full, where is the milk running to? Straight to the lid, through the pulsator, into the vacuum hose. If your vacuum hose goes directly into your vacuum pump, you're now sucking milk through your vacuum pump. Very, very bad thing. So you will want to shut it. If that ever happens, you will want to shut off your pump immediately to just minimize what's gotten in there. You'll have to take it apart to clean it out. It will not evaporate on its own. Ask me how I know. I've done that too. It will just sit there forever. It is really gross. I don't recommend it. So anyway, like I said, this will prevent, something catastrophic from happening, whether your bucket gets knocked over while the milker is running, or if your cow produces more milk than your bucket will hold and you don't catch it, which is also why I recommend going up a size in bucket. This is a 35-pound bucket, which just holds right at or just under 4 gallons. My cow is capable in peak lactation of producing more than that at one time. Most of the time I use a 65-pound bucket. I save the smaller one for later in lactation. But if your bucket overflows, same thing. Milk will run through the vacuum hose and into the closest point that it's attached to. If you have this moisture trap balance tank in place, it's going to go here first. So in theory, you've got to fill this entire column. Well, first of all, you've got to fill the bucket. You've got to fill the length of hose that goes into the moisture trap, and you've got to fill this entire column up with milk before you reach the next hose before it would get drawn into your vacuum pump. That's the reason why this is sort of like insurance for your vacuum pump. Once you do this, it gives you time to shut off your pump in the event of an emergency, and then just drain the moisture trap, and you never have to worry about the moisture, whether it be water, extra milk, whatever fluid that's going where it's not supposed to be, getting into your vacuum pump. Alright, so I mentioned the pipe dope earlier. That's what this stuff is. It's a pipe thread sealant, and as I said before, it's the consistency is kind of like marshmallow fluff. It's kind of chunky and stuff, but it just creates a barrier that anyway, a jet flew overhead. It just creates a barrier around those threads, and so when you screw them in, again, you've got this rather thick, almost insulating like material that eliminates any air gaps. Anyway, I hope that information is helpful. A couple things I would mention: you can certainly make your balance tank moisture trap larger if you like. In fact, they do make bigger PVC pipes. You just have to remember that the larger the pipe, your cost will increase. But honestly, the bigger you can go, the better. It just stabilizes your vacuum better, and again, it affords more volume, for accidental overflow. But a 3-inch was a good medium for us because we had never made one before and we just kind of wanted to try it out. But I might upgrade down the road and get an even larger pipe. It's just, like I said, the bigger your pipe sizes are, and that will require you to have larger fittings, and it just will increase your costs. So, but since you have a copy of my receipt, then you kind of have an idea of what to expect. I'm sure prices vary regionally by your home, improvement store, whatever place you get them from. So, but at least you'll have an idea of kind of what parts that you need. And as far as I can recall, again, I think we only had 2 pieces that we had to cut, and that was that long section of pipe. We cut it to put this piece in place, and I don't know what it's called exactly. It's some sort of an elbow with, another fitting going into it. Oh, pretty sure this is so this right here is one piece. This is another piece, and then that nipple threads into that. But again, we cut this piece. So this is a little section of that below here. And then we have a reducer going down from this size pipe to this size pipe. And so that's also cut. There's a section here and a section below the ball valve that's used as a drain out for that. So again, hope that helps. May or may not cut down this video into little pieces. I don't know. It's kind of long, but we'll see. Hopefully it will load for you if I can send it all in one chunk.